Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I am Tony Gerdeman, here as always with Tom Orr. Tom, how's it going?
Tony, I did my very best to make the JT Tuimoloau thing happen over the weekend. I spent the entire weekend coaching youth softball in the sun, like 90 degrees all day, Sunday. I was like, certainly me standing baking in on a softball field for 8 consecutive hours will be enough to JT Tuimoloau will think certainly he will be deeply inconvenienced if I commit right now. I thought for sure that was going to lead to this news breaking that we've been waiting on and waiting on and waiting on. It didn't happen. So I'm not coaching more softball this week. I'm taking a week off. So he's going to have to inconvenience someone else, I guess.
Maybe I'm to blame here then, Tom, because while you were trying to ignore the situation so that something would happen, I was doing I was watching the pot waiting for the boil. So I'm afraid what I did here is I've negated your nonchalance with my chalance by watching this pot. And I was like, oh, is that a boil? I saw a bubble. Is it? No. And we heard last night, maybe no. And so right now it's just the water is very warm as far as I can tell. I think if we just watch it a little bit longer, Tom, I'm telling you, if we just keep watching it, this sucker is going to boil. I feel it. I don't want to take my eyes off of it because if I do, I might miss it.
I have said if anyone has ever talked to me about you over the years, the one thing I say before I say anything else, Tony has too much chalance. I've said that for literally years now. I don't know. You haven't taken my advice, and now it has caused me to waste a weekend with my daughter at a softball field when we could have had a perfectly nice commitment to report on today. Instead, JTT Watch continues.
I believe it was offered somewhere in February of 2020, according to what I saw on a Twitter search. So, Tom, how many days is that?
February of 2020 to now. That would be probably about 500 days. I mean,
so day 500.
Yeah, sure. Something like that. Yes.
What better day to commit on than day 500 of a commitment watch?
Anyone who listens to the Morning Scoop knows I only do countdowns. I don't do count ups. Sorry, that is someone else's department.
Right. Yeah. You can't go when the numbers get bigger. That's tougher. When the numbers get smaller. That's easy. The numbers get bigger. Eventually, you're like, I don't know that's too much.
Yes, I don't want to get into scientific notation here. He'd better commit soon. This is stretching on too long. No, it's. I don't think there's any. I mean, we'll talk about it, but just I think the cliff notes is. I still have not seen anything that needs to be, a reason for concern for Ohio State fans. I think it's just kind of like, okay, it is gonna happen. Just hang on, and we can run through. I'm sure not everyone was as chalant as you were this weekend, so maybe we should run through like what happened, where things stand right now, what we're hearing, what we're reading, all of that, and give people a kind of an update for those who did not sit there just pressing F5 on the Buckeye Scoop board all weekend.
Right. So I think people by now know that he did not make the trip to Alabama, decided to shut things down after the visit to Oregon. So now he was deciding between USC, Washington, Oregon, and Ohio State, all four of which he has taken official visits to. And so I think that cross-country stuff is exhausting. And if you know it's not going to be Alabama, let's not go. And so you keep waiting this weekend. Since there was nowhere to go, maybe you just sit down in the living room, talk it out, and maybe a decision comes this over the weekend. And that did not happen. But at this point, there's no reason to think anything different than what we have thought all along, which is JT Tuimoloau is looking good for the Buckeyes. Now, one of the most amazing things about this entire recruitment is that the family only really deals with one reporter, and that's Brandon Huffman at 24/7. And Brandon, for a long time, has had his crystal ball put in for JT Tuimoloau, and he has talked to the family, or JT Tuimoloau, the crystal ball has been put in for Ohio State. And so the family talks with him. There's been no change in his projection, though I wonder, Tom, if this is one of those things, like if he changes, boom, he's gotten some information. However, if he changes, then boom, he's got some information and he spoils the ultimate decision for the player. So there's a little bit of a catch-22 there. And I I say the fact that he hasn't changed anything is good news for Ohio State, but maybe, Tom, he's trying to protect. He could be trying to protect the ultimate decision.
He could be, and you're right. I mean, you don't want to. I mean, that's one of those things in recruiting. You will typically have, when recruiting reporters know, a lot of times you'll have recruiting reporters kind of hint around something like, well, something could happen soon with X, or hear that Ohio State is way out in front for this guy. A lot of times that is someone telling you, we've actually been told this guy is coming here, and we just don't want to step on this. This is a big moment for guys, and JT Tuimoloau is certainly not. Has been pretty much the antithesis of attention seeking throughout this whole process. I mean, I saw people talking about how, he's just, why is he being so selfish and just trying to drum up drama? It's like, no, he seems like he's a lot like Zach Harrison, where it was just like, that is the exact opposite. He didn't, he hated that whole process, didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to be it to be such a spectacle. And, so the fact that there was some drama around the last minute decision, that was not, the player trying to drum up drama. Boy, that was easy.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. So I don't think that's that. But also, you don't want to step on his announcement. And Brandon Huffman works for 247, which is affiliated with CBS. So maybe maybe JT Tuimoloau will announce this on CBS Sports Network or something, or CBS, whatever, their website or whatever. And then you don't want to step on that. But, going back to, sometimes they'll hint at something, when there's news, so they're not spoiling it, but they're still hinting at it. There's still nothing coming out right now that suggests it's Oregon. It's still, you read the Oregon stuff and it was like, it was fine. And then the Ohio State stuff, it was an elite, fantastic, great visit. I mean, I don't have the exact quotes in front of me, but that was more or less it. And, again, I think there is no reason right now for Ohio State. I mean, everyone's going to get nervous if they want to get nervous, and everyone's going to assume the worst if they want to assume the worst, because that's kind of how things work right now. But I have yet to see anything from anyone that suggests that there's some massive swing in the works here. Does that mean it couldn't happen? No, but until you see Brandon Huffman saying like, oh, this could be a lot closer than you think, or this could, that until you see something like that, or you see crystal balls start flipping from other people, you I think are worrying just for the sake of worrying.
Yeah, and our intel has been Ohio State for a long time as well, Buckeye Scoops intel. So that's also reassuring. The fact that after a visit, you decide to shut things down, if I'm an Oregon fan, I'm thinking, oh, like once you heard that news, you're like, ooh. Of course, once Ohio State fans heard that news, they're like, it's over. Because now you don't have to battle Alabama. And then it's almost like they look over their shoulder and they're like, oh, Oregon's back there. And now you've got that concern. What was previously never a concern now suddenly becomes the concern, simply because you're waiting for him to announce. I did see somebody on the, I think it was on the Ask the Insiders message board, say, what if he's waiting until July 1st so that he can announce via like some type of endorsement, which would be brilliant. Like, guzzling a Mountain Dew and saying, I'm committed to Ohio State, the Mountain Dew of universities. Something of that nature.
That would violate their Coca-Cola deal, but go on.
But it would show some chalance. Something of that nature. I don't expect that, because, as you said, he's a pretty private guy and doesn't want a lot of attention. But he sure has seemed to found, he has found the attention through much fault of his own. If he wasn't so talented, this wouldn't happen. If he wouldn't have waited so long, this wouldn't have happened. So he's not some innocent here. Okay.
This is what you get for being good at football.
That's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I mean, you touched on the Oregon trip was the last trip, and this people are viewing this as this big tip off was, well, he left Ohio State. He didn't cancel his visits after Ohio State. He went to Oregon and then he canceled his visits. So, I mean, any Oregon board, and boy howdy, have there been some takes on Oregon boards this week. How stupid do you have to be to not realize, well, this clearly means he's going to Oregon. Like, well, okay, here's how his travel arrangements work. He was going from Columbus, Ohio to Eugene, Oregon. So he was going to go to Eugene, Oregon. And then you make your visit in Eugene, Oregon, because Eugene, Oregon is extremely close to where his home in suburban Seattle. Like, that's it's right on the way. Like we can get you a map if you want. And, maybe he wasn't completely ready to shut everything down 2 seconds after the Ohio State visit. I mean, Mark Givler and Bill Green talk about this all the time. Alex Gleitman too. You get that post-visit glow for a few days. Mm-hmm. And, do they want to, do they want to make sure, take a couple days, make sure, okay, you're taking a couple days, you make sure. They were sure they weren't going to go to Alabama. You take a couple days, you make sure, you go to Oregon, it's right on the way home. I don't think you need to read much more into it than that. I mean, Ohio State was trying to get him to shut it down immediately after their thing, but I think they were primarily concerned with Alabama. And here's the thing, like, you go back through the last, 18 months or so with him, and it's always been Ohio State and. I think the teams leading for JT Tuimoloau are Ohio State and Washington, Ohio State and Alabama, Ohio State and Oregon. Well, okay, guess what? There's a consistent thread there. And the same team has been first in all of those. No one is picking. None of the crystal balls are for anyone else. Like, it's Ohio State and when the and changes, that tells you second place is changing. Is it possible that someone makes this last minute leap? I mean, it's possible, but again, the crystal balls have changed. None of the intel from our insiders has changed. None of the optimism from within the Ohio State program has changed. And I mean, we can talk about the reports on, Oregon's feeling great after this. And Nevada Buck had completely the opposite information. Nevada Buck talked to someone who is well positioned to know what's going on inside the Oregon. And he said the Oregon staff was not feeling great about how things went after the visit. Now, what is the Oregon staff incentivized to say publicly to their recruiting people? Wow, we really biffed that one. Oh boy, we have this generational talent right in our backyard, and it didn't go well. They are incentivized to have this be, well, this went right down to the wire. Oh man, we killed it. We did, and ultimately he decided to go somewhere else. But man, we killed it. We dominated. Which one is the Oregon coaching staff incentivized to tell their people? Think about it for a minute. Think about it. What are they supposed to be the tragic heroes here, or are these the morons that screwed up I mean, if you're self-reporting on this and telling people what to think about this, like, which one do you think you would do? Which one do you think you would put forth as the narrative for this recruitment? Tony, I'll give you a minute to think about that. Go ahead.
You play some like thinking music.
Mm-hmm.
But even they can present this as a recruiting win over Alabama, over USC, over Washington. Hey, we beat those guys. We finished second, maybe, and as JT Tuimoloau goes to Oregon immediately from Ohio State, he's comparing everything he's seeing at Oregon to everything he saw at Ohio State. Every single room, every single drill, every single coach, like it's a 1v1 comparison, and then you shut things down. Now, Sunday night, Al Washington goes to Twitter and posts the Trey Sermon GIF that is just arguably the best GIF in sports social media history, with the lookup, and then immediately deletes it. He posted it around 6:30. Immediately deletes it. Somebody was saying, well, that's because JT was going to commit at 7, but at 7 Pacific, and Al thought it was 7 Eastern, and I don't believe any of that, but I could see something where he tweets something that he realizes he probably shouldn't have. Are we looking too much into it? I know I tell people, don't look into what 18-year-olds are tweeting or posting on Instagram, but I don't think it's irresponsible. It may be irresponsible. I don't think it's worthless to look into something a position coach tweets and then deletes, Tom. I think there's something there. What is it? I don't know. Can we associate it with this? That's the only big thing going on right now. So
yeah. Let me walk you through a scenario here. And I am not reporting. I am just walking you through a scenario here. If I'm not, and again, let me preface this by saying sometimes I say, if blank, this is a lot. I'm not saying blank, but if it did, this is a lot what it would look like. Normally, I'm doing that when I'm actually secretly saying it is. This is exactly what it is. This time, I really mean it. I'm not saying this is it, but I'm going to walk you through a scenario, and you tell me if what happened on Sunday night is exactly what this would look like. Ready? JT Tuimoloau contacts the Ohio State coaching staff, says, I'm in, officially in. I'll announce it, and Al Washington tweets that out. And then Al Washington realizes, he's not announcing it publicly yet. He's just letting us know. And then he's going to talk to other people or whatever, or have an announcement at some later date. And then he deletes it. That seems a lot like what that would look like. It just on the ground in reality, that seems like that's what that would look like. And, when is the actual announcement going to happen? As Nevada has said for years, one of his catchphrases is timing these things is always dicey. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that. And it's just, sometimes, so a lot of times we hear about the decision before the decision is made publicly. So, we know the answer. When is this actually going to come out? And, with something like this, people are, if you say 10 a.m. and it happens at noon, they're like, what? I've been sitting here refreshing the board for 2 hours. What's wrong? What's going on? And could this happen on Monday during the day? Yes. Could this happen Monday evening? Yes. Could this happen sometime on Tuesday? Yes. You put forth a theory that this is going to happen extremely early on Wednesday morning. Could you let people know why you are certain this is going to happen early Wednesday morning?
Yeah, and we shouldn't even speak it into the universe, but we already have. Wednesday morning, our message board is getting an upgrade from like 8 to 9:30, something like that. So it's going to be down. Now, there is no reason for a person on the West Coast 3 hours behind us to announce anything what would be 5:30 or 6 in the morning their time. Nobody does that here. Even on signing day, players wait till like 7 to send in their fax. So there is no reason for a Washington football high school player to announce via social media or any platform at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning that they are making a commitment. It would be irresponsible, irrational, and so it shouldn't happen. However, if there was a time where you absolutely, as for us, there was a time we absolutely did not want it to happen, it would be between like 8 and 10 a.m. Wednesday morning. So, knowing the history of this show and timing and when you don't want stuff to happen and then stuff starts happening when you don't want it to happen, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying when it does happen, you now know why. And you're like, well, it's great for you on the East Coast or in the Eastern time zone that, you get this out of the way right away in the morning. But why is this person, and I get it, you wake up in the morning, you want to attack the day. Don't attack the day by announcing your commitment to a school. That's not how you attack the day. That's how you ruin a day. All right. Let people wake up. If sites are undergoing maintenance during a busy morning, let them maintenance. All right. Let them get the work done. Let them take care of that. And then if you want to make everything about yourself, then go ahead. And it would be the most, we say he's not like searching for the spotlight. It would be the most selfish act I have ever seen if JT Tuimoloau decides to commit at like 5:30 in the morning local time on Wednesday and announce it. That would be an incredibly selfish act. I hope he doesn't do it because it's going to put a stain on his name for the rest of his life.
Got to think about the NIL implications there. That's yeah, I don't anticipate that happening, but the general bloody mindedness of the universe does suggest it is at least a possibility that it could. The timetable on this, again, the timing these things is always dicey, as Nevada says, but you go through, it's like, well, he's going to want to be, Ohio State has its next summer 3 semester, I think, starting on July 6th. That's next Tuesday. So you would think if he's coming, he would want to be here for for that next, probably arrive this weekend potentially. So if you're going to arrive this weekend, you're going to have a decision made. I mean, Bill Green said by Wednesday at the latest. And that's probably about right. Cause you're not going to commit on a Friday and then have to go book plane tickets. And then, it doesn't make sense. You take a couple days after your visit, give it a little time. make your decision. Then you have a few days to get your life together, and then head off to college. That makes probably the most sense. That kind of timing. So early this week, I think is a reasonable timetable. Whether that's Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday is a little bit of a question, but that is kind of something that's just sort of looming as this is probably not going to drag on for 3 more weeks. Don't worry.
I just had a terrifying thought. What if he flies to Columbus today or tomorrow and then announces Wednesday morning local time, which wouldn't be out of the realm of outrageousness, but would still, Tom, be incredibly, incredibly selfish for a guy who doesn't want to, doesn't want the spotlight. Although I say that the best way to do this would be when, a message board is down. If you don't want people talking about you, that'd be, so let's just strike this entire thing from the record and not encourage that type of behavior. So I'm gonna make a counterpoint here. All right.
If he shows up in Columbus with as plugged in as our insiders are within the program and within the college football community and the whole, I suspect we might hear about that. I suspect there might be, if he's going to be flying in, I suspect, under cover of night, I suspect we would probably hear about that and be able to wink, wink, nod you a little further than we are already. So.
And we could also push back the maintenance at that point.
But then that just causes him to push back the announcement and again and again and again. We'll just keep pushing back the maintenance. He'll keep pushing back the announcement. He's not going to play until like October when we finally just go, we're just going to do it. We're going to do it on like a Saturday morning. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Enjoy Arby's. And then he'll commit and then play that afternoon. It's going to be great.
I do enjoy the irony or the juxtaposition of me, who has been like checking the student registry constantly to see if there's a Tuimoloau, than him checking to see if the site is down for maintenance yet. It's like we were the dueling F5s in this whole thing.
So somewhere at Buckeye Scoop, someone's going, wow, our page views are great. Somewhere in the OSU student director department, someone's going, wow, our page views are great.
We need to throw some ads on these directories. This is amazing. I'm sure they are getting, like, it's not just me. I'm sure there's plenty of, I wonder if they're like, why do we always have these weird spikes at times? Like, what's up with that?
I'm sure this is Ohio State. Everyone is on a message board somewhere. Believe me, they know why the weird spikes are happening.
So yeah, I'm expecting us to be able tomorrow to be talking about this, and we will certainly have an emergency commitment podcast whenever this happens. We'll be back at it. Tom, if I give you an over under of say 9:15 p.m. Monday night.
It's funny because I was just thinking, if he says anything before 10 o'clock a.m. on Monday night, I'm probably going to take the under. And now I'm concerned I'm going to lose this one by half an hour or something. But I will take the under. I think Monday is the most likely answer right now. But as they say, timing these things is always dicey.
And that's why we try to time it, because if we get it right, we say, I told you so. And if we get it wrong, we're like, we told you this is not easy. It's not a science. Duh.
Episode title, JT Tuimoloau Commitment Watch, timing these things is always dicey.
There you go. You got it. So we do expect something here very shortly. Most likely, I think we're both expecting good news for Ohio State. But as if the timing is always dicey, sometimes predicting what teenagers are going to do can also be dicey, as we were all once teenagers as well, and we can all attest to that.
Yeah, there is there is no reason right now to think that anything is amiss from the Ohio State perspective. Everyone, if something does change and everyone goes, ha ha ha, Nevada got it wrong, I would encourage you. Don't worry, I've already screenshotted the crystal balls. Don't worry. Even the people who are usually reticent to weigh in on these things have put crystal balls in, and is a 5 crystal ball the equivalent of a 50-50? Look, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. It's don't worry. Everyone has weighed in. So and there's, again, like as we said earlier, the person who is closest to this is Brandon Huffman. Brandon Huffman's crystal ball is currently in Ohio State. Brandon Huffman's reporting on this, including direct quotes from JT Tuimoloau, are at one level for Ohio State and another level for Oregon. And this does not seem like someone, this is not, what Bill Green calls a Florida kid commitment, where it's, or a recruitment where it's like they're saying one thing and just building the drama. That seems like pretty much the antithesis of what he has been this entire this entire recruitment. And you look at, it's been Ohio State and the whole time, Ohio State and Alabama, Ohio State and Oregon, Ohio State, whatever. Like it's Ohio State and everything is all of the indications that you could possibly have are pointing directly to Ohio State right now. So barring some kind of insane last minute 180, I think Ohio State fans should be expecting good news this week.
Now I'm just thinking, like, if he does commit to Oregon, you're going to have all of these Ohio State recruiting insiders be like, "Who's JT Tuimoloau? Who?
Never heard of him."
Never.
The real heel turn move here would be to commit to Alabama. That would be the real heel turn move, because then not only do you have all these people from all these other schools mad, but all the Alabama people who have been saying mean things about him since he canceled the visit. I mean, that would be that's the real, like, Hulk Hogan coming out in the NWO shirt. Like, that's
well, and I posted on the board after he canceled the trip. It's like, gosh, he doesn't even need to see Alabama to know he wants to go to Alabama. Nick Saban is basically he's a witch. He can do whatever he wants. And but it certainly appears at this point that Alabama is out of the picture. So Oregon can, they outlasted Alabama in this. We will see what happens ultimately. Tom, you got anything else before we get out of here and get ready for the actual news? Although I'm wondering if at some point we just stay on all day and do like an actual Panda Watch.
Yeah, just do a live stream all day. Hang on. I'm going to hit press F5 again in the directory. Still nothing.
Still nothing.
All right. Hang on. I'm going to refresh again. Ready? No, still nothing.
Okay, just one more time. Let me try it.
One more time. Yeah, this is it. I feel it. This is it. Yeah, I do. Like we right before we hit record, we're like, I don't know, let's be 20 minutes or so. Like as usual, we have nailed it. Great job, everyone. Good 20-minute show.
So that is it. Thank you guys for listening. Just wanted to get you guys up to speed early Monday morning on what's going on, what to expect, and what to where to hit refresh. And where to hit refresh is BuckeyeScoop.com, obviously.
Boom, transitioned.
We will have you guys covered on this. There's going to be a bunch of stuff coming there if you are interested in JT Tuimoloau. And at this point, from what we've heard, many people are. So we'll get you covered on that as well. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to you maybe later today.